Greetings, comrades. This is Caleb, back with another kind of small unboxing video. And yeah, it's a few small packages, but they're all from the same company. And before anyone asks, no, I did not get a new controller. Though it is controller related. And more specifically, it is related to this. If my camera will focus. There we go. This is my original DualSense controller. This is my first ever DualSense controller. I'll actually have a link to that unboxing up there. Yeah, this is the first DualSense controller I ever bought. Mainly bought it for the PC. And yeah, it's a really good controller, especially when you get the Sony Interactive Entertainment games, as well as some other games that support it. Which, yeah, definitely awesome controller. If you saw my comparison video between this, the Xbox controller and the Switch controller. You know, I like both the Xbox and PlayStation controllers. I prefer the Xbox ergonomics a bit more, plus the ease of use when it comes to PC, but when it comes to like everything else, the DualSense is the one to beat. And a really solid controller. You know, play games like Call of Duty, you know, Returnal, a few other games with adaptive triggers and haptic feedback. Those are the features that make a DualSense controller a DualSense controller. And I definitely wanted to spruce this up a little bit. You can see, even though I haven't used it that much, there is a few signs of wear and tear. Like in the bottom, you probably can't tell, like a little bit of some of the symbols on the bottom wings here kind of worn out. Plus, I have no idea where this scrape came from. I didn't drop this or anything, so I don't know where that came from. But still a solid controller. I haven't developed any stick drift, surprisingly. That's because this is one of the newer models of the DualSense controller. Apparently the earlier models like BDM-010 and BDM-020, those are ones that are more prone to stick drift. But this I bought in 2023, and looking through the DualShock or DualSense calibration tool on the internet, I'll have a link to that below so you can check it out. This is a BDM-030, so these, along with the newer ones, the 40 and 50, they're a lot less prone to stick drift. Now, they can develop stick drift later on the road, but they're not nearly as prone as the original models around the time the PS5 came out. But yeah, really love this controller, and I want to spruce it up a bit more, and that's where all these come in. These are all from a company called eXtremeRate, which, as I mentioned in one of my shorts, eXtremeRate is a well-known peripheral company. They make like custom control accessories for the PlayStation 5 controllers, Xbox controllers, Switch controllers, even PS4 controllers, and they've been around for a while. And yeah, all this stuff is it's basically things to make this controller even better. Basically, I'm going to make my very own custom controller. This is going to be my first ever custom controller. And the best part of it, this doesn't require any soldering. Well, 99% of it doesn't require any soldering, but I'll get to that. But yeah, I got 5 different things here. Again, all from eXtremeRate. As I mentioned, they're known for making custom controller parts. And you might be familiar with them if you got a controller from Hex Gaming. Hex Gaming is basically a sister company of eXtremeRate, which they use eXtremeRate parts in order to make their controllers. And if you have, let me show you real quick. If you have one of these, you definitely might be familiar with them. This is the Hex Gaming Phantom from Hex Gaming, of course. And I'll have a link to this unboxing up there as well. And really, really love this controller. And yeah, you got pretty much everything you need for a custom controller. You got the swappable thumbstick caps. You got the trigger stops, which basically turn into mouse click triggers. And you have the back buttons, 4 of them to be exact. There are some controllers with 2 back buttons, some with 4. And you also have a profile switching button, so you can switch to different profiles. But yeah, a lot of people prefer this over some of the official third-party controllers like the Victrix Pro BFG, the Nacon Revolution 5 Pro, and the Razer Wolverine V2. Because here you have all those features, but you still have the haptic feedback and adaptive triggers that the DualSense is known for. And that's why a lot of people prefer these third-party, like, custom controller companies like Hex Gaming, also AIM, Battle Beaver, you know, Cinch, you know, stuff like that. If you watch Gamer Hero, you might be familiar with those names. But yeah, let's say you want a custom controller like this, but you don't feel like spending $250,000 for one of these. Yes, this controller costs $250. So yeah, it's not cheap, but like I said, you got all those cool features. Plus, you have Hall effect joysticks, which yeah, this will not have Hall effect joysticks. At least not now, because A, those require soldering. I don't have any of those. I don't have any joystick models. Plus, I don't have any soldering equipment, and even if I do, I don't know shit about soldering. Though I'm told it's fairly simple if you get the right stuff, but that's a little outside my ballpark. So yeah, I just wanted quick and easy, well, not really quick, because it's still going to take some time, a quick and easy custom controller job. And that's where all these things come in. And I might as well start with the biggest thing first. That's not this. That's going to be... Is it this? Yeah, it's this here. This is the Rise 4 remap kit. And yeah, this is basically a slight step down from the Hex Phantom back buttons, because you have these buttons, 2 on each side, whereas this, it's basically a large back piece that's on the back of the controller. It basically sits here, and you have 2 large paddles side plus 2 buttons in the middle, and you do have the same features, you know, programming the buttons to whatever you want. Though there are a few caveats to that. Now this, for the most part, does not require any soldering. Whereas the Xbox controllers, their back button kits, they do require soldering. So maybe one day when I get a soldering kit and all that stuff, maybe I'll create my own custom Xbox controller, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, this doesn't require soldering unless you want to be able to map the L3 or R3 buttons, basically press on the thumbsticks there, or if you want to program the touchpad button, which that presses down. You want to program those to the back buttons. Those do require soldering, because there are separate wires that you need to solder into from this board to the controller in order to map these buttons to that. I'm not going to, because, like I said, I don't have any soldering equipment or expertise, and plus, you know, I already have the Hex Phantom and the DualSense Edges for that. Now, this controller, this custom controller, is pretty much mainly written for the PC as well as the Steam Deck. So yeah, so that's the big thing here. This is like $48. Like I said, it doesn't require any soldering unless you want to remap the L3 and R3 buttons and the touchpad button. And considering you get the controller for $75, and you get this for $48, $48.99, you know, it's altogether, that's less than half the price. Actually, almost half the price as the Hex Gaming Phantom. But of course, if you want a custom controller, you want all the other bells and whistles. That's where the rest of these come in. Now, this is more cosmetic. This is just a separate faceplate. Might as well show you what it looks like. They have quite a selection of different faceplates for their controllers, like the DualSenses, DualShock 4s, Xbox controllers. I decided to go with this right here. You know me, blue, favorite color, and this just looks so sweet. It just looks so cool to not put on. Now, this is compatible with all the versions of the DualSense controller. It's just the other controller mods that need a certain type of controller, like the certain back button kits. You need a certain DualSense controller. You can check that again with the DualSense calibration site, which I'll link below, so you can check that out. But yeah, this is the faceplate I'm going for here. I believe it comes with a custom face button too, since it's not the same shape as the PlayStation button. Let's see, so that's... Okay, this is for the touchpad. That's a touchpad plate. This is something we're working on the weekend, because, like I said, it's definitely going to take some time. Yeah, we got 2 different friction rings. So naturally I'm going with the blue ones. We also got, okay, some Guessing that's the new home button. Just check it. It looks like it's just a plain circle, but hey, how's that? You have a decent selection of colors here. And I just dropped one of the friction rings. So you got some little shims here, which yeah, these are the pads that go here that cover the screw holes you need to take apart the controller. So the friction rings, and yeah, it does come with instructions. It also comes with a little sparging tool as well as a screwdriver to take the screws out. So yeah, definitely be looking through those, see what I'm going to be using. Okay, so that's the faceplate. Another thing I got, swappable thumbsticks. Which, yeah, for these, it's just as simple as taking out the old thumbstick caps and then putting these new ones in. So that way you have the ability to swap out for different thumbstick lengths and whatnot. And of course I was unwrapping it like a freaking candy bar. Yeah, the packaging is very similar to the ones I got for the DualSense Edge. I'll just put it in my pocket for now. But yeah, here's the case. Yeah, similar packaging here. Get the eXtremeRate play different. And yeah, basically you take these, if I can pull them out. Well, there's your screwdriver and thing. So I have a few extra screwdrivers and sparging tools. Basically, yeah, you take these old caps off, you put these in, then you'll be able to use these caps here, which oh, these feel pretty grippy. Yeah, they feel nice. And you got the convex ones, which, well, these also feel really good. Almost as good as the DualSense Edges. So yeah, that's gonna be a nice little addition. And what's also gonna be a nice addition are these. Now, I also ordered some, oh yeah, this is the clicky kit. Yeah, one thing the Hex-Game Phantom does not have is clicky face buttons. And basically, it's just a little PCB you place over the, where the membranes for the buttons and the D-pad would be. And yeah, there's a D-pad, the face buttons, and this does not require any soldering, but I am going to read the instructions to make sure I install it properly, so yeah. Like I said, this will be a pretty big undertaking. And these are the new face buttons, naturally, since they're going with blue. I decided to go with blue buttons. I don't remember if I got the metallic or the... I don't remember if I got the regular blue or the metallic ones. Either way, it's going to go with the theme. There we go. Gotta poke my bed sheet. Okay, yeah, you got the regular blue ones. But yeah, it's pretty much the D-pad, the face buttons, the share and option buttons, as well as the triggers and bumpers. So, yeah. Definitely look real nice there. And if you haven't seen the Rise kit itself. Okay, so here's the actual back plate. That's where the piece with the button will go. And you got these little slots right here for the trigger stops. Yes, just like the Hex Gaming Phantom, this does use... Okay, there's the actual back piece for the buttons. You got a few extra components. You got the... yeah, here are the components that you used for the trigger stops. The looks of it. Now, I am going to look up the tutorial to install this properly, so I don't want to mess anything up. Got another screwdriver and sparging tool, and some extra screws. Some of them were needed for that. And here's the actual... one of the PCBs needed for connecting to the PCB for the back piece. That's going to be this here. Also include extra shimmies, which are used for that little extra clickiness to the triggers, as well as a few spacers that help keep the PCB stable inside the controller. So, I mean, you may or may not need it. Depends on how well you do it. And you have a few extra ribbon cables, which again, these are needed to connect to the main PCB for the back buttons. And there are also a few, I'm not sure if it's this piece or here, there are a few extra wires that you'll need to solder on. Well, actually, I'm not sure if you just, oh no, actually, if I watched the Gears and Tech cover this, you unsolder the cables from the controller, and you solder those onto the PCB here, which again, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, this is going to be a pretty intimidating job here, because this is the first time I've ever taken apart a DualSense controller, so here's a pretty daunting process. So, you know, if you don't try, you don't learn. So this will be a first time for me. But yeah, all things are going to be my own custom controller. So yeah, I'm a bit nervous, but at the same time, I'm pretty excited, because yeah, I'm going to breathe some new life into this controller, even though I haven't used it that much. I think it could be a little better in the aesthetic department. No, don't get me wrong, the Starlight Blue, definitely awesome, but the Cobalt Blue and even the Chroma Indigo are even better. But yeah, this will be my donor controller for this little project here, and I'm really excited and a bit nervous at the same time. But hey, like I said, if you don't try, you don't learn. Now, this is going to be a rather big project, so I probably won't have a video of the completed controller until maybe Sunday, I'm not sure. So in the meantime, this is I'm Caleb signing out. You have a good day.